Welcome to the Somos Sunnyside podcast, brought to you by the Communications Department of the Sunnyside Unified School District. Thank you for tuning in while we share stories about the bright side of education.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. That's right, we are Sunnyside, and today we are live at Desert View High School here at the Precision Manufacturing, the iSTEM Academy, right? But we're going to talk a little bit about precision manufacturing, and we are celebrating CTE month. So that is Career Technical Education Month, the month of February, and we are celebrating and highlighting our amazing high school programs that we offer in our college and career academies. And we want the public, we want our listeners to have a good idea of what to expect when they're entering high school, what choices they have, and all the possibilities for them to be successful as they move on to their different, and as they choose their career pathways. And so I want to start off by welcoming Mr. Cesar Gutierrez, who is the instructor. He is the brains behind this entire operation. And, you know, the students here are giggling. There's 5 students, but they're giggling because, you know, they know very well that they have a great relationship and there's great outcomes in this program. And this is, I want to remind you, this is a nationally recognized program, you know, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first of all, I want to welcome you, Mr. Gutierrez. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah, we're doing really good. Thank you.
So you know, we're gonna get him to say more than that here shortly. Before we go there, let's introduce our students and actually introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, you know, how many years you've been in the program, and what grade you're in. So let's start off here with Jorge.
Hello, my name is Jorge Quijada. This is my 4th year being in the associates program. I am a senior. Alex, go.
I'm Alex Bustillos. I've also been in the program for 4 years, starting as a freshman. George?
I'm not George. My name is Johnny Felix, and I've been in the program since freshman year, and I'm a senior now.
I'm Bernadette. I've been in the program for 4 years, and I'm also a senior.
I'm Miana Urquidez. I've been in the program for 4 years, and I'm also a senior.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your guys' experiences. I love that you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jorge, you said something. I've been in the associates program, is what you said, and so we want to get right into it. You know, we want to get right into it because these students that are here sitting with me today are going to graduate in May, not only with their high school diploma, but they're going to graduate with an associate's degree from Pima Community College, because they've been taking dual enrollment classes for 4 consecutive years as they entered as freshmen. And so, you know, they've had to sacrifice extra time because some of these classes were outside of the school calendar, whether that was summer, whether that was after school, and you know, other times. And so it just tells you about the dedication that they have. And, you know, it's got to feel good being the first class ever from Desert View High School to be walking out with not only your high school diploma, but your associate's degree. And so we'll talk a little bit about more about how that was done, because it not only do you have to have qualified instructors to teach dual enrollment, to teach the Pima College classes on your high school campuses, you know, you got to definitely meet and check all the boxes to be able to offer college courses on your high school campuses. But how does that feel, guys? I mean, jump into it. Anybody? I mean, how does it feel knowing that not only are you going to graduate with your diploma, and I know I've said it 3 times already, but you're going to graduate with your associate's degree, because it's huge. It's huge. So, Johnny.
Well, I think that for us, personally, that it's not as like exciting and impactful for us, because this is just something that we've known since freshman year, is graduating with an associate's degree. But to other people, they have to they have to do that in college, and they didn't get that opportunity during high school. So I feel like we do appreciate it and see the benefits of it, but it's also like we don't enough, because this is just normal.
This feels normal. It was an expectation from the get-go, right?
Yeah.
But I think the other thing to point out is that your dedication and commitment to it is why you're sitting here today earning an associate's degree, because not everybody is leaving high school with an associate's degree. And so the other thing, and I could be wrong, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, Johnny, but like you're not giving yourself enough credit for this huge accomplishment. And so this is huge, because not anyone can do it, and you guys have done it. And so basically you've taken care of 2 years of college in high school, right? And so when you start college, there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? You're not starting from scratch. You're starting with an associate's degree under your belt, and you're 2 to 3 years away from earning a bachelor's degree, right? And so who else wants to chime in here and talk a little bit about your experience and talk about what it means to you?
I mean, it's definitely, like, if you look back at it, it's definitely a really interesting experience. Ever since freshman year, it's always, like Johnny said, it's a norm now. Like, we've built this norm, staying after school, coming in during the summer. But if you look at all these other students, like, they don't stay after school, they just go home, like, right away. I mean, it'd be nice to do that, but knowing that we're, like, almost at that, like, finishing point, that finish line, you've definitely got to feel accomplished for something.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Don't hold back. Spit it out.
Well, I just don't think they give themselves enough credit. When we first started 4 years ago, I think it was 30 of them in this classroom, and they're down to 5. Mm-hmm. And so I think this last semester that we went to, the last 2 classes are done at Pima. And I think they finally start understanding, like, actually how much knowledge they actually do have. Mm-hmm. Because when we're doing stuff in here, it's just like the regular norms, right? But then once you get there and you sit down in the college classroom, then you see a different vibe.
Right. You're in the building, in the seat, right? Versus being at your own high school. Yeah. So I can see that. I can definitely see that.
And I don't really think that we could ask what we're asking from them, especially this semester. They're giving up their Fridays for the next till May, basically, like, because we're asking them to go. We're going to Fridays from 4 to 10 every Friday from here to graduation day, just to make this deadline.
Yeah, so it's pretty phenomenal. It really is. I mean, from 30 to 5, and it's not to say the other 25 students are failures or anything like that, right? Because for whatever reason, they just couldn't commit to what you committed to. And I'm sure those students are graduating with their diplomas and on their way to doing some great things. But, you guys are the 5 left, right? And the 5 that are going to graduate with an associate's degree, which is phenomenal. Anybody else want to add anything to that? All right. So very, very humbling students here. Very humble. So, Mr. Gutierrez, you've been at this for 14 years here at Desert View High School, and this is definitely my old stomping grounds as the former principal here at Desert View High School, and I know we worked together, and I got to see this program start from the ground up, when I was here. And so talk a little bit about, you're one of those few people that has a vision and can carry out a vision. I mean, a lot of us have visions and we see big things, we want big success, but it's hard. It's hard to carry that out sometimes without the help of others, right? But some people just have the gift of seeing it through all the way. And you have definitely seen this program through. I remember 14 years ago, what these buildings looked like. There wasn't a machine shop here. There wasn't a quality room, in here, and definitely wasn't a lab for drafting and design, and so 3D drafting and design. Mm-hmm. And so we have all that here now, and that's because of your vision. And I know you're super humble as well, and don't like to brag about yourself, but I'm going to brag a little bit about you. I remember I believe it was 2012, when we went to Washington, D.C., and you were the CTE Program of the Year. In precision manufacturing was the National CTE Program of the Year. And I remember you getting that award. You've been the Harbor Freight Teacher of the Year, which is a huge, huge recognition. And I know there's other accolades out there that you have accomplished. But tell me a little bit about, when you first started, what the vision was, and kind of where you're at now. Because now it's kind of like a well-oiled machine, right? I mean, every year you reload with kids. Every year you're reloading and putting out, students that have accomplished a lot, that have options, that have choices. And I'm very familiar with the program because, as I said, I was here. And so what always sticks out in my mind is being in that SAMP meeting, Southern Arizona Manufacturing Partners meeting, and them sitting there saying, we need workforce, we need workers, we need machinists. The average machinist is 59 years old. And these kids can come out of school making so many thousands of dollars, right? And so let's go back to that. Let's go back to how this all started, how it started with a vision and where you're at now.
Well, it just started basically the way you said it. It started with a vision, but everything first started with like having a principal that actually supported, then a district that supported, and I had a CTE director that had our back, because all of it costs money, right? So we went from buying $80,000 worth of machines to what we have now. So it was all just like a basic plan, and then at the beginning we didn't have a classroom, and now we have 3 classrooms. Now we have a building. So all little by little it started, and then the students started pouring in, and it was their excitement. I wish I could say that it was us, but it's not us, because without them, none of this actually happens. But then they started getting excited about the program. They started getting excited about their careers, and at the beginning when we started, like you said, with SAMP, it was an idea. It was the workforce trying to get more students to go into machining. And that idea also evolved in time. So we started, 14 years ago. The idea was the workforce and how we're struggling in the workforce. And now we're getting into the idea of, like, how do we create better engineers? And so, like, we're taking on this. That's where the associates program thing started with, was because we identified a problem where an engineer without work experience is just an engineer. And so, like, getting these kids with more work experience, more knowledge of the machine shop, we can create better engineers. That was brought up through the SAMP idea as well. So that's where we're at right now. The associates program started with, again, it's just another crazy idea, crazy visions things, where we had a group of kids that excelled. And we found out that they could actually learn more at the high school level on college classes. But we didn't have that dual enrollment in place. And so with it's their work ethic that started the program. So here's that crazy idea of, like, how do we go get more dual credit? How do we go get more dual credit? How do we get close? And then we started off with 30 kids. And once we started, like, none of the kids that are not here anymore, of course, they're not losers. They're not anything. They're actually very successful in whatever they're doing in the plans that they have for their lives. The only thing that I see with the students that are here with us right now is that they're resilient. Like, resilience is the hardest thing for us to get. So regardless if you want to be an engineer or if you want to be in biology, architecture, whatever, you're building a resilience now. Like, you learn that when you start something, you know how to finish. And that is something that a lot of our classes can't teach. That's something that you have to learn through life itself. And a lot of these students, like the ones that we have here right now, have had their personal struggles, their family struggles. At one point or another, all of us want to quit. I think in my 14 years here, I've wanted to quit like 5 times, right? But it's not the fact that
it's not an option.
It's not the fact that I really want to quit. It's just that we always like, oh, I got to get out of here. It's not enough. I just got to get.
It's resiliency. It's what you just said, right? It's just being so resilient that you're gonna work through all these obstacles and challenges, that we all face. And much respect to the students here, just because I bet, for teenagers to give up this much time, you're talking about giving up Fridays after school, fall breaks and those types of things. I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had out there, right? And you guys have to sacrifice that. And so, it's it's so amazing how far this program has come. I want to talk a little bit about career and technical education and college and career academies a little bit for our listeners out there. For our families, for our listeners that are trying to make a choice right now, like what high school do I want to go to? What college and career academy do I want to join? Right? Because I think sometimes we don't share that enough. People don't know what high schools offer, and we have amazing college and career academies at both Desert View High School and Sunnyside High School, and there's different pathways. Here at Desert View, we offer the precision manufacturing, which is in the iSTEM Academy, right? And so if your child is interested in that, I mean, tell me a little about the courses we offer in the program. What type of certifications can they earn? What type of dual enrollment opportunities is there? And I don't know if the students want to speak to that or if you want to speak to that, but I think parents and students should know what opportunities are out there.
You want me to start it?
Not all at once now.
Well, with dual credit, one of the things that I love about dual credit is the fact that you're taking a college class at the high school level. And one of the things that I love about academies, because I'm an academy person, right? So is the fact that the high schools look more and more like colleges now and universities because of the academies, because now your students can actually take the same classes together and classes that actually relate to the fields that they want to go into. So they're taking their core classes and also they can combine them with dual credit. What programs like this create is they create opportunities to bring in English as a dual credit, math as a dual credit, social studies as a dual credit.
Bingo.
And so like now we have more classes that are dual credit. Like for my crazy world would be like have everything aligned through careers and career pathways and have them all aligned to like if you're going into business, then if the business pathway is there, then the math classes are already set for you and it's all dual credit. Sure. So what we want to do is
we're trying to get there. Trying to get there. That requires a lot of funding, and so I think you hit on something real key here, and I want to talk a little bit about dual enrollment and the other classes you've had to take outside of precision manufacturing. So don't go away. We're going to cut to a quick commercial, but we'll be right back.
You will love SUSD. Don't believe us? Just watch. In Sunnyside Unified School District, students dream big, learn boldly, and grow confidently. From hands-on STEM and arts programs to student athletes earning athletic scholarships, Sunnyside District gives every student a place to shine. Enrollment for the 26-27 school year is now available. Enroll today at susd12.org.
All right, we're back here again at Desert View High School, and we got 5 students here, and Mr. Gutierrez, our precision manufacturing students in the iSTEM Academy, just sharing their experiences with us. Before we went to that break there, Mr. Gutierrez was talking about how, this early college program that they offer, in terms of students taking dual enrollment classes and earning college credit. Not only is it the precision manufacturing classes they're taking dual enrollment college courses in order for these students to earn their associate's degree, they've had to take an English dual enrollment class, right, which is probably writing 101, 102. Mm-hmm. You've had to take a math dual enrollment. You've had to take a social studies dual enrollment. What else? What am I missing? Was there a science dual enrollment?
We have chemistry now.
You had a chemistry dual enrollment, right? So you're taking core classes of dual enrollment, not just your elective in precision manufacturing. I want people to understand that because although they're only earning their associate's degree, it's a true associate's degree. It's not an associate's degree in precision manufacturing. It's probably more like a general studies associate's degree, right? That gives you the opportunity to chase any career path you want. And so we always talk, in our district, when we think about the student experience and the high school student experience, we think about 3 things all the time. We think about every student should have an opportunity to take a CTE class and earn an industry certification, right? The next thing is every student should have the opportunity to earn a dual enrollment credit. Take a college class in high school. And every student should have an opportunity to have a work experience or an internship. And so, I want to hear a little bit more from the students. The other thing I want to hit on here is that I love that from the get-go that you've always included our young females in this class. Back in the day, let's just say it, right? They probably, when you talk about precision machining and engineering, it was probably dominated by male, people. And so I've loved that from the get-go that Mr. Gutierrez has always has recruited, our young ladies and women to get into this class. And here you show. We have 2 here today that are going to earn their associate's degree. So talk a little bit about that. What was it like, or did it impact you or not impact you at all being a female in this line of work? And what I mean by this line of work is precision manufacturing, machining, 3D drafting and design, the classes that you had to take.
I mean, it is definitely different than the boys' experience in this class, because whenever we go to like companies and we go out to industry, we don't really see a lot of girls over there. I think recently we saw one girl that came here. She was working SolidWorks at industrial tooling, and that was like the first time I had ever seen a girl that worked in like the engineering aspect of it. Normally we see them in like the offices and stuff, but not ever really in the engineering process. So it's a lot different, I feel.
I think it's kind of motivating in the way that it makes you want to make like a difference, like because you don't see a lot of women, like you see them at the reception desk, but you don't see them working in the shop. Like you want that to be you working on like the big machines, like cutting the parts that are making all the money for the company.
That's awesome. And like I said, throughout the years that I've seen this program grow, there's always been females that have been successful in this class, and I love that we've kept that going. And so, the other thing I want to get to here is, what are you guys walking away with? Like, besides your associate's degree, what kind of industry certificates have you guys earned? What kind of opportunities or conversations have you had in the field? And is this something that you want to move forward into in terms of studying for a career, and what's your pathway after high school?
Okay. I mean, yeah, like you said, we're leaving with an associate's, but multiple certifications with programs like SolidWorks or with NIMS. Things like safety, like we already have that understanding of safety in the shop, how to set up a machine. We already have that understanding. I plan to go into aerospace engineering at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and already having these certifications, having this associates, and just a basic understanding of how the shop works. It's definitely giving a step up compared to other students already. Like also entering as a freshman into university, but we already have this information and not a deeper understanding, but a deeper understanding.
Yeah. And when you talk about like NIM certifications, I mean, when I think of big companies, right? I'm sure you guys are aware of some of the companies that probably want to hire you, right? That probably are saying, hey, come work for me and we're going to take care of you. There's a huge advantage with you guys already coming out of high school work ready. What I mean by work ready is you have NIMS certifications, which for the public out there, those are the safety certifications you need to start working for a company, an engineering company, right, or a machine company. And then you said SolidWorks, right? So explain a little bit what NIMS is, what SolidWorks is.
SolidWorks is a software we use in drafting and design. That is the software we use when we take certifications, like the CSWA is the beginning certification, and the CSWE is like the expert certification. Yes. So you draw up like designs and certification drawings, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
And then NIMS is industrial like tests, like right, industry use them, other people use them as well. It demonstrates that we know what we're learning. So it's not like just a class where you get graded on like, oh, you did the assignment, this and that. The NIM certification proves that you know what you're doing, because we not only do written tests, but we also do like parts where we cut them out and we send them to industry for them to grade them and show that we have understanding of our parts.
Wow, that's So they have layers for students, right? In terms of assessments, in terms of making sure that you do know the work, that you are being safe, and so that's huge, because for an employer, they're going to hire that person over the person that probably doesn't have them, right? Has these certifications.
So all the software that we use here, just so that I can pigtail on this, is the software that we're using here at Desert View is all the software that's being used out in industry. So SolidWorks is about 80% of all the industry out in the world uses SolidWorks. The NIM certifications is just exactly like what Miana was saying. It's like proof that we have that the student actually knows the theory and the practical knowledge of each one of the certifications, everything from programming to setting up these machines. And then now we added 2 more. So now Mastercam. So these students here can program like 3-axis machines, 4-axis machines, 5-axis machines. And now they're all studying to get another language, right? So I consider these languages, G and M code, are one language for programming. So as engineers, they're also going to need something that the entire world is moving towards, which is GD&T, which is like an inspection or a way to dimension drawings. So they're all studying to try to see if they can get the GD&T certification for measurement as well. So.
All right. Well, what I want to get into next here is what's fun about this class. I mean, I know there's a lot of work that goes in. You're chasing associate's degree, you're chasing industry certifications, but what are some of the fun things that you get to experience? And when I say fun, I mean, I'm talking about learning experiences. I'm talking about the fun that you have with your classmates, because I know you guys go on different trips, right? Different events that you attend. What are some of those events that you've attended that have been very inspiring, very good experience for you as you move forward with your education?
So we have trips, obviously. My freshman year, I went to Chicago with the class, and it was pretty cool because it's like you get to see some place that you wouldn't see on your own. Not everybody has the money to be able to go to Chicago or go to Houston like they did. So being able to go is pretty fun. And then you get to go with your friends. So it's a different environment than going with your parents on a trip. You go with your friends, and you guys get to see like places like MGM Mori, right? Yeah. We got to see Mori, and that's a place like not everybody gets to go see. So it was really cool to see that machine shop and just see like the places that we get to go because of the program.
Gotcha.
I mean, here in the shop, I think I can speak for most of us that we're all kind of just one big family. Like, we're always cracking jokes to each other, always laughing. But it's not, like Miana said, like, if we're going to these places, all these, like industrial, or we're visiting Mori or Axiom in Houston, we're being treated like adults. Mm-hmm. We're still these high school students, but we're still being treated like adults, and we know what we're doing. That's kind of the biggest thing I've noticed.
One of the things that I remember when you guys went to a trip one time to Anaheim, I believe that was SolidWorks
World.
Or SolidWorks World. And I remember getting an email from somebody in the industry, and at that time, I think I was a first-year superintendent, and he talked about how well prepared our students were, on how some of our students were outdoing some of the engineers, some of the actual engineers at SolidWorks World. And so that just speaks volumes about this program. And I think, this program, and, the parents listening out there and the students listening out there, they leave their footprint wherever they go, and speaking about that, I want to talk a little bit about, this partnership you guys have with Sky Youth Foundation. Some of you are going to have the opportunity to travel to Lima, Peru. This will be the 3rd year. I believe the first year you guys traveled to Costa Rica. Then, last year you were in Lima, Peru, and this year you're in Lima, Peru again. And this is a life-changing experience, in terms of you're helping amputees, individuals that need a prosthetic leg. You guys have helped manufacture parts to assist, these individuals in need. So I'm going to start with Mr. Gutierrez, as he's obviously been on these trips, and talk a little bit about, how that came about, and how it ties in not only to being a life changing experience, but it ties into what you guys do, right? And how you the hope that these individuals have, you make a reality, for them, and that's their livelihood, right? Being able to walk, being able to move around, and that's done because of the commitment you guys have. So talk a little bit about that experience that students have and will have.
So this all started when I was up at a conference with the Harbor Freight Teachers of the Year, and there was a gentleman there from Chickasaw High School that had this idea. They were already producing some prosthetic legs. So basically he was inviting us to see if we wanted to collaborate with them and figure out how it's all going to come about, and basically contacted the principal contacted the CTE director, and we went and moved forward on it. Our first year, it's just like, at the beginning you have like no idea what to expect. You're going into a third world country, you have no idea what's going on. I think that the moment that we showed up to the center and we started seeing the people, for me the most impactful part was the 12-year-old. So you see a 12-year-old kid without a leg, and all he wants to do is play soccer. And now you're giving him the ability to do that. And so once you start figuring that stuff out, I think the thing that ties it in the easiest for me is what one of my students told me. It's like, now I know what I'm supposed to do as an engineer, help people. And so he finally connected the dots between what this class can do and what they're going to be doing outside. Because a lot of times we're just teaching subject matter. We're just teaching this, we're teaching that, and we don't know how to tie it into the outside world. And once you do that, they started. That's what Peru did for me.
Right.
It's like it finally connected the dots on what the engineer is supposed to do. Like right now, we're working on a below-the-knee prosthetic. We're probably about 40 or 50% done with it. It's not as easy as one would think. You already have a prosthetic leg that works. How hard is it to make another one? But this year we have the opportunity to maybe go to Costa Rica as well. Mm-hmm. So I wish that I could take every single one of the kids with me, because I think that's how impactful it is for our students. Because I think those are things that we kind of forget, is how to be of service, gratitude.
Yep.
And when you come back to school, I mean, I don't think that I'm not a student at the school anymore. So like the only people that could really talk about that is somebody that's been there. Uh-huh. Because when you come back, it's totally different.
Yeah, I love that you hit on the point of you're speaking to like real world application, right? Sometimes we sit in courses and we're like, when am I ever going to use this in my life, right? When are we going to ever use this in the world? And you're talking about connecting the dots, man. It just comes to fruition, right? It comes, you see the through line and you're like, bingo, that's why I'm learning what I'm learning, right? Because I have an ability to impact others, to change people's lives. So speaking of those people that are changing people's lives and I have experienced it firsthand, we have somebody sitting at the table here, right?
Bernadette.
We got Bernadette here that went last year to Lima, Peru. So tell us a little bit about your experience last year and some of the experiences of the other students, Bernadette, as you guys, traveled, to outside the country, to engage in this important event that I'm sure, changed the lives of the amputees, but not only changed their life, probably changed your life as well, because I can just imagine, how emotional it is, going through, those few days that you were there. So tell us a little bit about the trip, besides the good food you ate, right?
Well, last year we went to Costa Rica, and that probably opened it a little bit more for me, because I got to see, like, I don't know, I feel like from Peru to Costa Rica, Peru is like a very poor country, but like the people in Costa Rica are so like they're very like wise. Like the man that I helped, is one man, I'll never forget him. Like it was very chaotic. Like it's really hot there too, so you're just like kind of like irritated a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know Spanish, so it was very hard for me to communicate with everyone. And I told this man, I was like, can you just give me a second? Because he like kept tapping my shoulder. I was like, can you just give me a second? He's like, and he was just staring at me. I'm like, so I'm like looking for like a translator. And I don't know, I was just like, hold on. And he's like, oh, okay. But like in Peru, they're like questioning you about everything. And it kind of makes you like, on like a more personal note, it makes you like it makes you look at like your life like totally different. Like I left Peru, and on the plane back, I couldn't stop thinking about like their stories and like what happened to them, like how fortunate we are in a way. And it might be selfish looking at it that way, but that's just like that was the aspect I saw it from.
No, I don't think it's selfish. I think it's really putting in perspective of you know, the advantages we have and that somebody else may not have, right? And so tell us a little bit about, you know, what you actually did in terms of working with individuals. Like, is there one story that sticks out of who you helped, and you know, seeing that person work on that prosthetic, or not work, I'm sorry, walk on that prosthetic leg for the very first time? What was that like?
Well, that guy that was tapping my shoulder, I was able to get him fitted. His wife kind of understood me, so she would tell him like, hold on, like she's gonna fit you.
Right.
And I had to interview them. Like, you have to ask them, like, can you walk without crutches? Or, like, do you walk, or you try to walk regularly with crutches? Like, because you can't just give them the leg as much as we would want to. They have to be able to walk on it on their own.
Right.
And after I fitted him and we got the prosthetic on his leg, he got up. And he didn't even, like, walk with the crutches. He, like, kind of forced himself to walk with the leg. And I was like, if you can't do it, like, it's okay. Like, we can have you do it with the crutches. He's like, no, I'm going to do it. And his wife was, like, probably from the end of this room to that side. I was like, you can't, like, walk that far. Like, I just put the leg on you. You have to get used to it.
Learn how to walk.
He's like, no, I'm going to walk to my wife. I'm going to walk to her, and I'm going to give her a big hug.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay.
That's
I almost wanted to start crying.
Yeah, it's a tearjerker for sure, right?
So he got, like, the crutches, and then I held the crutches for him, and he walked, and he kind of stopped to, like, catch his breath. I was like, he's not going to be able to do it. So I walked up to him. He's like, no, I'm okay. I got it. I was like, okay. So I just sat down, and I waited for him to get to his wife. And finally, when he got to her, he kind of just, like, threw himself on top of her, and she started crying.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It, like, puts, like, a knot in my throat. It was, like...
I bet. I mean, definitely, and that's what I meant earlier about not only is it life-changing for them, but definitely life-changing for you guys, right?
Definitely.
And you know, and I also understand that not all amputees are candidates, right? Not all of them, you know, are fit. And I bet, I mean, talk a little bit about that, you know, and whoever wants to talk about that piece.
I think the hardest part is, this is the hard part, because we're talking about resilience earlier, right? And so it gets to the point where they're actually telling the person no. And the students are looking for the adult in the room so that they could talk to the person, and the adults are like, "No, this is not our responsibility. You're actually the person that's making the relationship is the student with the person." Yeah. So basically, they're telling the person that they can't fit.
I would be a mess. You know, it'd be difficult to tell somebody, "Sorry, you're not a candidate," right? But also those that you did, you know, support and help and you know, built this prosthetic leg. And I think the other thing that I want to speak to real quick is you guys just don't, you know, say, okay, here's your prosthetic leg, let me put it on. There's work to do, right? I mean, so explain a little bit about the work, because you just can't strap it on somebody and they're good to go. There's work in terms of, I have to customize this, you know, and so if you guys would talk just a little bit about that.
Well, when we first get there, we set up tables and we have an assembly team. The assembly team takes all the pieces that we 3D print and they assemble like the lower leg, like the below the knee. And then the other school from Alabama, has like the leg cups, and you have small, medium, and large. So it's very limited as to like what kind of leg you have and if you're gonna get the leg. So we interview the people, and we kind of have to measure them and get like an idea of what like size they need. And it's very hard because sometimes like they're not used to like having like something right there. Does that make sense? Like they like it's weird and it like annoys them and they
Right.
get upset like that it's not like fitting or that it hurts
Right.
or that it's poking them. So it's really like the engineering aspect. You have to find a way around everything because something's like coming at you like every different angle.
And that's where the customization comes in, right?
Oh, we have to customize leg bones. We have to cut. Last year we
This is
actually
a year before when
yes.
they like grinded like the steel piece. We had to like they were there for like I think an hour grinding like a piece of it off to get like this man. He was fairly short. We had to like design him literally like his own leg.
Yeah.
Wow.
Last year we had to design a cup
Mm-hmm.
on the fly.
That's an amazing experience, and I'm glad to hear that we're doing that trip again here pretty soon, right?
Yes, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So in 3 weeks, you will be back up there and again, changing lives. And so, again, to our listeners out there, I can't tell you enough about how awesome this precision manufacturing program is. I mean, we got a lot of great programs at both our high schools, and this is one of them. This is one of them that's nationally recognized, as I said. And you know what I want to end with is I want each student to tell me a little bit about where they see themselves 5 years from now. Like, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? What are your dreams? What are you chasing? Has Desert View prepared you to go out and accomplish what you want to accomplish in life? You know, because in the next 4 or 5 years, and you guys have a 2-year head start because you have your associate's degree already. What do you hope to accomplish? And so we'll start with whoever wants to go first.
So I think in 5 years, I'm going to see myself already with a bachelor's degree. I'm going to go into college to aerospace engineering. And I feel like not only am I going to get a head start right in the associate's program and like getting the degree and then getting my bachelor's degree, but also just like with life skills in manufacturing, because as we were talking about, it builds like resilience and then like determination and the want to do something. Like it's your choice to stay after school, to go for these
Love
trips,
it.
to be in the program. And those are just like general life skills that are good, and like building consistency, like staying a certain amount of hours, doing a certain amount of work, and like dedicating time to it. And it teaches you how to balance your life with things other than school, like, you know, friends or hobbies or sports or just anything. And it's a good stepping stone to give you a head start. So I think that I'm confident enough to be well ahead of a lot of people in 5 years because of the head starts that I got in high school. And I'll be on track, like, to go wherever I want, or like to do what I want earlier.
Sure. Well said, Johnny. And it's definitely it's a student experience, right? I mean, you're comfortable and you're confident. I love it. Who else wants to jump in?
In 5 years, I hope to be graduated for architecture, so have my bachelor's in architecture.
Okay.
Take the design aspect of this class and use it for that. And I think this class, not only the class, but honestly the associates has taught, like Johnny said, a lot of resilience. I mean, this year I had to balance my sports with our class at Pima, and there was this, G talked to us when we were deciding on our classes, and me and Bernadette were both doing sport at the time, our fall sport, and he talked to us about how our class was going to be Tuesday and Thursday, which interferes with both of our sports schedules. And he talked about how it was the first life lesson we were going to get. And that really stuck with me because it did. I mean, there's things in life you don't have control over. Sometimes you do have to make those hard choices. And I think it just taught us that making the choice that you might not want to make is always going to benefit you in the end. So it taught us, like, to be able to do not always do what we want, but do sometimes what you need to do to be able to be better at the end of it.
Awesome. So I mean, in our organization, we talk about doing hard better, right? Because it's things are difficult, you know. And in terms of architecture, I got some context. We'll talk later. Anybody else? Anybody else want to jump in?
I plan to go into also aerospace engineering. In 5 years, I plan to enlist into the Air Force, so hopefully working on aircraft with them. But also to go off of Johnny and Miana, we've definitely done a lot here, and it's definitely going to benefit us overall in any aspect of the word. Not only are we leaving with an associate with all these certifications, we're leaving with life skills and things like understanding a work ethic. Like Miana said, having to make the hard decisions, whether just to balance everything that you do. Because I'm in JROTC, and so I have to balance going into drill practice as well as coming in after school, or having any events or trips that we go on with either manufacturing or ROTC. It's a big job of balancing what we can and can't do.
Well said, well said. So we got 2 future aeronautical engineers in the house here. What is ready now?
Oh, I'm so ready. I was planning on studying mechanical engineering, honestly. And in 5 years, I see myself working with a bunch of middle-aged men, right?
Okay.
Right? Like, you see the vision?
Yeah.
A bunch of middle-aged men. I'm the only one there that's young, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be flexing like, remember Jonah?
Yes.
Yeah, he was flexing in church. He was like, oh, I'm actually very advanced for my age because of G's. So that's how I'm going to do. I'm going to flex it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm going to stay humble.
No, it's all right. It's all right to flex as long as you can back it up. No, that's awesome. And then last but not least, Bernadette.
I don't know where I see myself. Obviously graduating from university, but one thing this program in particular has taught me or like showed me is like you can, it's a part of everything. Like I really like, I like FFA. I really like being outside and working with like plants and animals. And I thought engineering was just subject to like the machine shop, but it's like a whole other world. Like I really want to be an environmental engineer. I want to design like sustainable like water systems for aquaponics. And I think, because at first I didn't want to join this program, I really didn't. But Mr. Gutierrez showed me that it's more than just being in the machine shop. Like it's like this whole world.
Opens other doors, right?
A lot,
and
yeah.
you know, you guys are so smart, man. You guys are super, super smart kids, man. And it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me, but I'm so blown away of how well you guys speak, you know, in terms of you get it, you know, you guys talk about life skills, you talk about resiliency, you talk about your experiences in the classroom. You have a plan, and you know, I'm gonna show off here a little bit, you know, and say that here in the Sunnyside district, we're impacting the student experience. I mean, your experience as students is because we have amazing programs, but amazing programs are built by amazing individuals, right? It's built by amazing individuals with visions and great teachers like Mr. Gutierrez and other teachers we have in the district. And you guys are getting the most out of your experiences. And so parents, you know, and when you're thinking about choosing high schools, come give Deja Vu a visit, come give Sunnyside a visit, because there's something for every student offered at our high schools, something for every student. And the trick is finding what your passion is, finding what your purpose is, and just, you know, being resilient, as you guys said, and not giving up till you reach the very end, right? And sometimes there is no end, but you keep chasing the goals. You keep chasing the goals. So, you know, with that, you know, I just want to congratulate all of you. I can't wait for graduation. I can't wait to blow this up in the media and talk about how you guys are going to be the first class of Deja Vu High School in Sunnyside District to graduate with an associate's degree and your high school diploma at the very same time here in May, and probably all of Southern Arizona, right, in Tucson. So you know, we'll find that out, and we're going to keep bragging about you. And so, you know, I do also want to emphasize that many of Sunnyside grads are graduating with college credit through dual enrollment classes. Many of them are. But you're the first to graduate with a complete associate's degree. So congratulations. And with that, we're going to sign off here at Somos Sunnyside. Hasta la próxima. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it entertaining. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and share our podcast with la comunidad. For updates on future episodes and more, be sure to follow us on social media and visit our website at susd12.org. sunnyside.org. We appreciate your support and can't wait to have you back for the next episode. Hasta la próxima vez en Somos Sunnyside.